Jesus Christ. Yep, man.
You ready, son?
The greatest man ever. I remember everything.
Okay, what we talking about?
Oh, shoot. Well, we're talking about today. Oh, introduce yourself, boy.
I'm Joel.
I'm Anthony, and we are the Blueprint.
Boy, you got it right this time. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
One more time. You gonna edit it, right?
No.
Oh,
This is it.
All
We don't
right.
do no editing. Very little editing.
So what we're gonna talk about today, Joel?
Well, we was talking about in the news, Robert Smith, the billionaire,
Uh-huh.
is being, I guess, investigated for some tax issues.
Right.
So we don't know all the details, so we're not talking about that. But it does bring up the conversation about some people saying that he only has this issue because he gave the money to Morehouse.
Right.
So with that, when we as in our community, when we decide to do certain things, should we do it not under the table, because that sounds deceptive, but should we do it in secret as opposed to putting it out there in the public? And my answer was yes. We should not put everything out in public.
I agree. Not everything, but like, what should we put in public?
Just entertainment. People love entertainment. Put the entertainment stuff out there, the fun stuff, the little lightweight stuff. But as far as anything dealing with change, and anything that's going to uplift our community, or anything that's going to take time to build, I think we should not put that out there.
So
I think it should be like almost like one of them things where it just all of a sudden people look up like, dang, where'd this come from?
Right. So
instead of putting it out, oh, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and every time you do that, it's gonna be a issue.
Yeah,
and a lot of times it comes from our own.
Yeah, but let me play a little devil's advocate. You know, the only way it seems like for our people to get the information is through entertainment, right?
Right.
So we have to use these tools, the form of entertainment, to reach our people, to get them the information to benefit what we're trying to do. So how can we do that and get all the information to our people without putting it seem like it have to be out in the public for them to get the information? So how do we create a better way of getting our people the information? Because we're not buying a Total Call newspaper to get information. We don't have any private websites or pages that we own to give out information. So how can we give out information, like if we want to give a bunch of scholarships away and not letting the public know that a billionaire paying off tuition for a group of a class of 200?
Easy. You can have that in the clause. That's your stipulation. I'm gonna give you this money, but it has to be done within this certain time period. Or it could have been anonymous. He could have gave it away anonymously.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I know I'm right. I'm right about damn near everything.
2%.
He could have gave it anonymous.
2% of everything.
Say for instance, if okay, you got Tyler Perry with a studio.
Right.
Say if a bunch of actors wanted to get together and wanted to make another studio, or make something even bigger, or I don't know, something within that realm. Say if you had Denzel, Will Smith come together, and I don't know, Viola Davis.
Yeah.
They would, in my opinion, they would probably get further ahead if they put the infrastructure down, didn't put it out in the public, built everything up, started producing movies.
And then let it speak for itself.
Right, let it speak for itself.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But when you start putting it out in the public ahead of time, oh, this is what we're planning on doing, well, one, you got the pressure of actually doing it.
Right.
2, you got all the naysayers coming at you, and then you got the government, which is the main thing that's going.
Why the government want to mess with us though?
Why not? Because we might. I mean, that's
We're taking money from them.
yeah,
When we spending money with each other, we're taking money from them.
exactly.
So let me ask you this: should we, when we become billionaires, should we announce it to the world?
I don't think so. But typically, we don't announce it anyway, except for Kanye. We don't put it out ourselves.
I don't know if the public find out, they publicists tell them for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, it's almost like hitting the lottery. If you hit the lottery, what you want it out in public?
No, I don't want none of my business in public.
That's
I'm private anyway.
That's what I'm saying. But
But-
you on YouTube.
Hmm?
You private, but you on YouTube.
Hey, I'm talking about life though, not my life, but life in general.
Oh, okay.
So it's a difference,
Yeah.
kind of, sort of.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Think about we watched what's the movie with Nate Parker and Nat Turner.
Nat Turner,
The Birth of a Nation.
All right.
So they were gonna probably get caught anyway, but why did their rebellion not last as long? Remember, because you had a little kid run out
Yeah,
and
it's
tell what was going on.
why
It's
is
the
that,
same.
though?
It's the same situation now.
So you saying we still have the same slave mentality of that kid, a healthy fear of the white man, basically,
In some instances, yeah.
and we want acceptance from the white man, so we rather put all our information out there to get their acceptance.
Well, I don't know about all that, but
Hmm?
I don't know. Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory.
I don't know about that, but I'm just saying sometimes you have to build it before you really talk about it, or let other people talk about it. You don't have to say anything about it.
Yeah, but in today's era of branding yourself, you have to talk about it.
But what I'm saying is you can brand yourself. Say for instance, Robert Smith.
Mhm.
He didn't have to talk about, or he didn't have to let it be known that he was giving the money to the Morehouse graduates that year.
No, he didn't.
He was already known in his field. He was already successful in this field. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, let me ask you this.
And most time most people that come together to build something, generally a lot of times, although they're building one, when you come together, you're building something from the ground up. But individually, most of those people are already well known in whatever field that it is, or they're doing well in whatever field that it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not relying on that one project. Like if me and you come together and do something, and we building it from the ground up, but individually we are still already got our own thing going.
Right.
But we trying to build something for the community.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand everything.
So, which is crazy because a lot of times we'll get each other and we'll tear each other down when the very people that you tearing down individually, they're already good anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean? It's really helping somebody else. They good.
So could it be the career of the person that they took give them a certain different light? Like, so majority of our billionaires seem like they entertainers. You look at from the Oprahs to the Jay-Z's, Kanye, Tyler Perry. So they money is basically out there in public. And you had somebody like Robert Smith. A lot of people didn't know who he was until
Right.
he gave the money to Morehouse.
Right.
So, it depends on what you do for a living to get that money?
I don't think so.
Because we don't know a lot of billionaires from different races if they not something that's in the public eye, like, Apple, who the Microsoft.
Right.
So you know who the head of those companies, but all the other little billionaires, we don't know what they do that's behind the scenes, but they're making money. So it kind of depends on what you do.
I don't think it matter. I mean, the more exposure, the better, in my opinion, especially in our community, because
That goes back to
if you only see billionaires as entertainers and athletes, and you can't sing, you can't rap, you can't dance, you're not athletic, or you're not good enough to make it to the league, or be professional, then you're gonna feel like you ain't never got a chance. But when you see people in other fields, it's like I don't have to rap, I don't have to sing, I don't have to play with a ball or whatever. I can make it in computers, or I can make it in medicine or tech or whatever else.
But that's why Robert Smith was important at that time.
Right.
Because with that exposure, it exposed who he is for the black community to know this guy is not an entertainer and he made billions.
Right.
So I think we need that.
Yeah, we definitely need it.
We need that. We need to show diversity on what we all do as people. We're not just entertainers,
right?
That make money.
Yeah. Because you have some people, even grown adults, you have some people in certain fields that you didn't even know that was an option growing up.
Right.
You didn't even know what it was.
You didn't know what it was. Yeah. Yeah. So what is the solution? Just keep it on the hush?
Keep it on the hush.
How should we do it? We still got to get the information to the people that don't have the information. So how do we give our information to people who don't get the information, can't get the information?
Well, it depends. If you're not in a position to move whatever movement it is forward, then you don't necessarily need to know. The only people that need to know are the ones that's in position to make the change. And then once they make the change and once it gets going, then you can go back, reach back and affect other people. For instance, the people that just invested in the town, right? How many of those people?
19 families.
19 families bought some land here in Georgia.
Right.
Right. How was it? 20 acres?
97 acres.
97 acres. Okay. Well, I'm thinking about close to 20 people. So 19 people invested in 97 acres.
Mm-hmm.
The only people that needed to know about that were the people that had the money or the interest to invest in it. If you ain't had the money, even if you did know about it, what good was it going to serve?
So they should have been private about it.
I think they should have been private about it.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think they should have been private about it.
I think so too, and I think they shouldn't, because to me, I think we so far behind.
Right.
That it hurt us because we the first ones seem like to do something.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like majority of the black people that's doing good, they taking care of a bunch of people in their family, mm-hmm. in our community. So it's like inspiration for the younger generation.
Right.
So I think since we so behind, we need to be private, but we can't be private at the same time. Which is, how do you maneuver in that type of situation? Because we're trying to uplift our community because we're so far behind. And that's where the dilemma is at. Like, how do we go by? We want to be private, but we got millions of folks that's basically hopeless per se, or don't see what they can do but a few things. How can we change their whole mindset and say there's other options? Because it's some land out here for cheap,
right,
that we can grab up.
But again, I just think,
and I agree with everything you're saying.
People only concerned about the end result. When you putting in the work grinding, don't nobody care about that.
No.
And don't nobody want to do it. Most people, if they see somebody and they say, oh, well, I want to be like this person, what they what makes them say that is the end result of that person.
Yeah, absolutely right.
You know what I mean? When that person was grinding, when that person had failed businesses, when that person, was going through his tests and trials, they wouldn't have said, that's who I want to be like.
You're right.
So to me, it's no need in telling anybody what you're doing, why you're doing it. Once they see the end result, then it's easier to attract more people and build it even further.
But let me say this: you see other communities, you have sections of other communities. They diverse in their careers, right?
Right.
So you have a bunch of people. There's doctors, lawyers, accountants, all in one community. There's different things down the line,
Right.
and it seems like it's not so diverse. You know, I mean, we always look at the biggest thing. Like, he made 2 or 3 rappers done made $1 billion or something.
Right.
And we're not looking at the whole industry as a whole, that they owned by somebody. So if they making $100 million, whoever owning them making a couple of billion off of them. So we're not looking at the whole aspect of everything. Like, we still on a total small level of everything. So how can we try to make us more of owners instead of workers? And I know it take work, but we still got to get the information out there to help them understand we need to become owners, because we've been working for people for so long. And the only way to seem like to get the information out there is to not be private. But I'm a private person. I want my stuff to be private, but I want to help our people at the same time.
Right.
And that's my only dilemma. Like, how do I give out information? As barbers, I'm quick to share information about finances. I want to see everybody do good. Now, I understand everybody's not going to receive the information.
Your quickest way to get information out there is to be somebody that people want to be like.
A lot of people want to be me, though. No,
well,
I'm joking.
Maybe.
I'm
but what I'm saying is, okay, if you coming in and, like you do, mentor some of the guys come in and you'll try to tell them different stuff or whatever, and some of them take to it and some of them don't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I understand that's how it go.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if you had something visible that they could see, then they'd be more apt to listen to you. You wouldn't even have to tell them. They're gonna come up to you and ask you. Say, for instance, if you got a client and the first time he come in, say he in a Lamborghini. Then the next time he come in, he in a Ferrari. Then the next time he come in, he in a Bentley. He ain't gonna have to tell you nothing. You gonna ask him. Like, man, what do you do or whatever else? And I mean, I know it's unfortunate to look at it from a monetary standpoint, but what I'm saying is that's what attracts people. You don't have to push it on nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's still not, to me, that's loud. That's not being private, though. Having the Lamborghini, the Ferrari, or whatever expensive car,
right,
to me, you open yourself up to not being private.
But you got to have something to show to people.
For us, for our community, we do.
I think it's just, well,
I don't think
especially in ours, but overall, I think typically you have to have some kind of track record. You either got, I mean, and I use the cars, but I'm saying whether it be you could be the owner of the shop. You have to have something to make people, what's the word I'm looking for? To attract them. If somebody come in here and they talking all this stuff about, I don't know, money, investing, but you looking at them and you can't see nothing, or you can't see nothing in their life, you like, oh, this dude full of. You see what I'm saying? I ain't saying he got to be over the top. I ain't saying he got to be flashy, but he gonna have some kind of proof
that he doing what
he doing. And although it is some people that you can't look at them and tell, it's a lot of them, but they got something that they can prove to you. It may take a little bit of probing, but it's something that they can prove to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think too and we're in 2020. Now, if people telling you something, especially financial wise, we all got a phone in our hand.
Oh, I done looked it up while I'm cutting plenty of times.
Exactly. So
I stop what I'm doing. Like, for real? Let me.
What it's called?
Right.
I'm gonna save it and look at it later on tonight.
Exactly.
But I'm like, that's what we should do. I'm
Right.
thinking if somebody tell me something, I got the information right in my pocket. I can just type it in real fast, save it, look at it later on.
Right.
That's what I'm saying about our generation. All we gotta do is look it up,
Right.
and we'll go to something that'll waste a couple of hours and look at something, stroll up and down, look at really nothing, and instead of looking at something that can probably benefit us if we put the work in.
Right.
But
I think individually you have to have something to at least show, at least prove. But when you come collectively, your power is so much stronger, and I think that's really where you have to be silent about it.
so is it cool for me to say, "Oh, I made 3,000 off this stock"? Would that you think that'll get a person attention, or I need to show, "Oh, I got this Range Rover"?
No, but not necessarily that, but okay, it's one thing to say, "Oh, I made 3,000 off this stock." It's another thing to pull it up on your phone, on your Ameritrade, or
Oh, I can do that.
or but I'm saying that has more power.
That
has more weight.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
That definitely has more weight.
I get you.
But see, that's a one-on-one type situation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But with
Now,
us,
if you got on ABC News and was like, "Oh, I made $3 million in 30 minutes,"
I ain't doing that.
that's
I
a
ain't
different.
doing
That's a
that.
different scenario. You know what I
I
mean?
ain't doing that. I'm staying private.
Right.
I
Because just like we check our stuff, then the IRS would be like, "Oh, for real? What's his name again? Let me. Oh, he ain't paid taxes in." So
I pay my taxes though.
yeah, we all pay our taxes. We all pay our taxes
Jesus Christ.
religiously
Every quarter.
every quarter. So yeah, I think the downfall for a lot of us is just putting everything on Front Street.
Right. And I see that, have heard a few people, especially the people I follow on Instagram. I see, you post so much. Jealousy is in a lot of people.
Right.
Man. People hate to see another person come up.
Right.
And like someone said earlier, you saying you the first black this, you the black that. Our people start hating on each other just because you say that. You're
Right.
the first, that word first. People don't want to hear that. We're always in competition. When it's a lot of money out here for everybody to get,
Right.
you can just follow the footsteps, the blueprint, because we are the blueprint. You can follow their blueprint and come up.
Right.
It's all about networking also. But I guess you answered the solution to it. So what's the next topic, son? Joel?
Oh, you want to go into it?
Yeah, let's
We'll
go
break
into
it up in
I
different
think we just
videos. The next topic was dream killers.
dream killers. What you mean by dream killers? Tell the world what you mean by dream killers.
Well,
What's a dream killer?
people that you tell what you want to do and they got nothing negative to say about it, or they don't support it.
They only have negative things to say. That's what,
Right.
or they don't support it.
Namely for your friends and your family and your spouse or girlfriend or whatever, that's one level, but I'm talking about in the very beginning from a child when you're not supportive toward whatever your kids want to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, Obama. You know what I mean? growing up, if anybody would have said, and Obama older than me, but when I was younger, if anybody would have said, "Oh, I want to be president," they might let it ride when you real young. You know what I mean? They by let it ride, I mean they just don't say nothing. They just let you say it and they don't say nothing. But by the time you get a little bit older and like you getting closer to, you know, a working adult and getting out in the real world or whatever,
Yeah.
they ain't trying to hear that.
I probably would have said the same thing to Obama. I ain't gonna lie. Like, what? Better work the community.
Right.
Better be a
But
senator.
I think, and a lot of it is I think based on fear. When you're a parent, you want your kids to, you know, choose a career, and a lot of times it's based off of the experiences that, you know, the parents have had or whatever. So if the parents maybe worked at a plant or the government, you know, they know that that's a steady job. They know it's got benefits. You know, anything outside of the normal bubble, say if they would say, I want to be an actor or I want to be a singer or, you know, anything that they can't really, anything that they enjoy, but it'd be for somebody else. This ain't for, you know, this is like for somebody else. This ain't for my family or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
You need something stable.
Right.
And I think, 'cause I think a lot of people can probably, if you think about it, can probably look back to when they was 8, 9, 10 years old, and whatever they wanted really to do is probably like so far from whatever situation they was in. And at that time, they probably really believed that it was attainable. But throughout the years, you know, whether it be, you know, parents, teachers, friends, you know, it's you know, it can be, if you ain't strong, if you ain't that strong type person, because I mean your parents, you know, they raised you,
Right.
you know, and it ain't got to even be in a bad situation. You could be, you know, loving, nurturing parents or whatever, but because they're in that situation and because they want what's best for you, and what's best for them is what they want for you.
Right.
If you don't really have that goal of, you know, making whatever you want happen, you know, it'll deter you, and you'll settle for less.
So I think, me personally, I think it's about how the parents start investing in their child. What I
And
mean
what they
by
expose
that,
them to.
What they expose them to, what they allow them to do.
Right.
You know, like you said, singing. You know, give them some singing classes.
Right.
Acting. Pay for some acting classes. They want to
Exactly.
play sports. Invest in them a coach.
Right.
A trainer that's gonna help them become the best player they can be.
Right.
So I think it's all about the investment. Where you start. Education is a big thing in your family. Start with a tutor early. Help your kid learn how to read at a younger age.
Right.
You want to be a math genius and tutor in math. I think it's all about putting that money on things that gonna benefit them in the long run than the short term. Like toys can wait. You know, you can wait to do stuff for Christmas. You can buy a gift year round.
Right.
But investing in your kids at an early age will benefit them in the long run. Financially, you can invest in them. In education, you can invest in them. In sports or whatever they want to do, acting, singing, you can always invest in them.
And then sometimes you have to expose them to stuff that they wouldn't choose.
Yep, absolutely.
Just to be well rounded.
Right.
When I was younger, my mom had us in art classes.
I was just about to say art. Yeah.
You know, playing instruments.
Instruments. Yeah.
She took us to a Shakespeare play one night.
Yeah.
Me and my cousins.
Did you fall asleep?
She said, y'all was the only black folk in there. And I looked up and all of y'all was asleep, snoring. But we had experience.
Yeah.
And I like plays now. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
you know, some people are like, man, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing it. You know, at the time I didn't like it, but,
Right.
you know, at least give them the exposure.
the exposure
That's the main
helps
thing,
out.
is getting
Yep.
exposure. When I was I went to a job fair one time. I got to talking with this guy, and he said he I forgot what he did. It wasn't like the game warden, but anyway, he pretty much like patrolled the lake. I don't know if he was checking. It wasn't like checking fishing licenses and stuff like that, but it was like a cool job. And I was like, I didn't even know that was an option. I didn't even know this job even existed. You know what I mean? So you got to expose your kids to as much as you can. I used to have a client that named Chuck Owens, and he said, man, if my son came to me and told me he want to build a ship to go to the moon, my only responsibility is to help him to get there. You know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of times as parents, without thinking, sometimes you be like, man, you ain't gonna,
Right.
you better sit down somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to do that. But okay, so we know what we should do, or what we suggesting somebody should do, like for their kids. But when it comes to dreams, and you married, and you've been, working, y'all done built a life or whatever, and say one or the other decides they want to pursue their dream of whatever it is, but their spouse not supportive. How would somebody deal with that?
Oh, well, the spouse not supportive. Now that's a tough one.
Right.
Because I think.
Or, well, let's say this: they didn't talk about it before. Been talking about it for years and years. But then when it comes time to pull the trigger, now it's a different scenario. And a lot of times it's based on fear, but.
Yeah. But I think as long as if the finances is right and how y'all communicate.
What's the right finance though?
Well, it depends on the individuals now. If you got yourself out of debt, you can still handle that mortgage and bills, you should be fine. Card note, or if you got a card note,
right,
you should be good. I think it's all about communication too. Get a person, your significant other, your plan, write it down, show them what you're gonna do, X, Y, and Z, and go from there.
Right.
I think that's the best way, instead of just saying I'm gonna do, I'm ready to do it now.
Right.
No, you need to plan it out. Write it down. Show them. That's the proof.
Right.
Like with anything, you gotta have proof. Especially when you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and you want to do something, pursue something.
Right.
Just show them. Communicate. Show them proof. Have it all planned out. Then I think it should work. Then I think the fear should go.
Mm-hmm. And
the main thing is, don't be scared to try. I think the worst thing for a person to do is not try something.
Yeah. It's either gonna work or it ain't.
Yep.
It ain't gonna kill you though.
Yeah. You only got
two
options.
You bounce back.
As long as you got them finances straight, you only got two options.
Right.
Either it's gonna work or it's not. I think that's how it should work, especially in a relationship.
Yeah. Communicate,
show that plan, and then it should be easy from there.
Okay. All right. So what else we got?
So let's get back to the kids. As they get out of high school and you're trying to help them with their dreams, how far should you go in helping your basically grown kids with their dreams? To what age should you stop helping your kids?
Man, I don't think you ever stop. That's my opinion.
Why you say that?
Because they're your kids.
I understand that. But if they work ethic is not there, how much work could you put in? And
you put in what they gonna put in.
So say if you believe, and I see parents believe more in the kid than what the kid believe in himself or herself.
Right.
So can you push a kid to believe more in themselves, or does it have to come from that kid? Period. You can
push them to give them confidence in whatever it is that they want to do, but you can't never really push them into something that they're not interested in.
but they come to you with these ideas and they started off doing it and you support
You
it.
have to help them organize. Be like, look, write down everything that it is you want to do, and we're gonna narrow it down. We'll narrow it down to maybe 2 things, and then we'll work that and see which one is gonna be feasible to do right now. Like, what can you do with what you have right now to get either one of these started, and that's what you do.
Okay, but say your kid
But
is
we not gonna finance the demo mixtape 1 week, and then the next week we financing the short film, and then the next week we starting a t-shirt company, and then we're not doing that.
so one thing at a time.
Right, one thing at a time. Yeah,
I get you.
Yeah.
I get with that.
you gotta do one thing at a time.
So what's the cutoff age? 30, 28, 27?
I think it just depends. I don't think it's no one size fit all. I think if your kid is really trying and they ain't BSing you
Okay.
and they doing what it is they supposed to do and they responsible, I think you should help them for as long as you can.
So what if they suck but they trying real hard? Because we done had a rapper that came in this barbershop. I ain't gonna say his name. He sucked, but his work ethic,
How many songs on the radio suck?
yeah, but he sucked.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah, you're right, but man,
How many?
he was hot garbage. But
Right, but I mean that's the way of the world. That's how it is. It's
Yeah.
about your marketing, your hustle.
he had to hustle.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Somebody is gonna like it. I think I heard. I don't know if it was Queen Latifah. One time I was reading a long time ago. She said it take talent to make a whack song.
I hear
So
that.
even though we'll say it take talent,
I understand that.
some kind of talent.
You
Now
heard-
it may be on the low scale of what we used to, but it still takes some talent.
So you heard
Somebody gonna like
you
it.
heard the guy who I'm talking about.
I heard him. I definitely heard him. But think about how many songs are played on the radio. At first, you be like, man, this is some garbage. By the time they play it the 10th time,
That's why I don't listen.
you're going to be
to
bobbing your head at least, tapping your foot one time at least.
They ain't brainwashing me, but
I'm just saying it don't have to be.
man, his
Look
work,
at them hood movies we be watching on Amazon.
they be good though.
Some of them good. Some of them ain't
Yeah,
good.
some of them ain't good.
Some of them ain't good. The acting terrible. The screen be moving up and
Jumping.
down.
But he try to showing love though.
Right.
But their storylines be pretty good. But it's different with music. That music,
But see, that's at the age you are now. Somebody else coming up 13, 14, 15.
whew,
Think about the young guys
I hear you.
who they like now.
Yeah, well, that's a different generation.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a lane for everybody.
But he was a tweener. He between this
Well,
generation.
he was definitely kind of
and
too
my
old.
generation. So,
But I'm saying though,
but I respect his hustle. That's what I'm saying at the end of the day. Get back to it.
exactly
So you have a kid like him, who we talking about.
right.
You know your kid suck, but his work ethic is there. But you can't. You know, you just gonna. You know, in all, he ain't gonna make it.
Right. But I think that's few and far between though.
You think it
People
is?
that really put in the effort, something is gonna happen.
He was networking.
They might not go platinum, but something is gonna happen.
Yeah. I wish he would have stuck.
Now a
to
lot
it
of people,
then.
most people that just suck all together, they really don't
Put in the work.
put in the work.
This man was networking like.
It's impossible for you really to be putting in the work, putting all them hours and not get better.
Yeah, this dude was networking. He was meeting people. He was moving.
That's what I'm saying.
But dang.
It's gonna happen. So you gotta support
He
them.
probably would have got somewhere
Yeah.
close to it.
Right.
He probably wouldn't just.
Right.
Yeah, I guess so.
Even if you don't do nothing but get known for being the worst rapper,
you made it.
you made it.
So how far would you have supported him as a parent?
Man, I don't know. No, I would support him. He was trying.
Yeah, he tried hard though. Yeah, I would.
He was making the most of his time. He was organized, and he was still working his
He was working
his regular job.
He was working the regular
So
job.
I would do it.
Yeah, I would have helped him too.
I help him out.
Yeah, I bought a CD. Yeah,
Did I buy
yeah,
it? I think I did.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. Sometimes when people see you ain't that good, but if they see your hustle, they still gonna support you.
Yeah, I would have supported him on a lot of
Right.
stuff.
I listened a couple times, and that was
Whew.
right.
And I heard some new stuff and nothing changed. I said, "Whoop!"
Right.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But that's the end of the show.
That's the end of the show.
And it's a wrap. Support your kids. We the blueprint.
Later.
Peace.